I kind of know YouTube now, so it's like,
How many subs do you have?
you don't need a lot of subscribers.
Sure, what's your view count?
I average like 1,000 views, and I don't even have 2,000 subscribers yet.
Then dude, you haven't mastered YouTube.
Okay.
Okay, but Alex, why have you mastered YouTube?
In the last 40 months, my YouTube grew from 0 to 2.23 million subscribers.
Okay, give me something more impressive.
Our average view duration is over 8.5 minutes.
What else?
My community posts over the last 30 days had 2.5 million impressions. My short videos got about 18 million impressions.
So what is your advice?
We split test 9 different thumbnails. The thumbnail matters a lot.
Come on, I know that already, Alex.
I kind of know YouTube now.
Overproduction to effective, from distracting to enhancing, from visual effects to visualizing data.
Well, that is interesting. What else do you have?
Now this one is really big. Going from confirming the thumbnail or confirming the headline to proof.
Okay, but do you have like low-hanging fruit?
I want you to look at your #1 piece of content. This is what I want you to do. Just post it again.
I will ask you later why, but what else?
Going from post-production to pre-search. The videos that we spent the most time on the front end, we spent less time on the back, and they did better. An ounce of pre-work is worth a pound of post.
Alex, you're on fire, but do you have a second? I need to poop.
Pooping is very important. We all need to do it.
I'm kidding. What do we need to do before we go viral?
Mentally act as though you're always talking to a stranger, because if the content does well, you are.
Really? So I have to mention every time that I've done $5 million, hired 50 people, and have another channel with 7,000 subscribers? Won't people click off if I say that all the time?
I'm gonna lose retention if I introduce myself. Okay, well, let's play the equal opposite. Would you rather fewer people know who you are or more people who have no clue?
Yeah, I agree. But remind me of your stats, Alex.
Our average view duration is over 8.5 minutes.
It's impressive, but what is even more important than retention?
You need to obsess about your first 30 seconds.
Okay then, give me your hook recording secret.
This video right here, we did 8 different takes of the intro where I slowly worked from 30 seconds down to 8, and then that's what became the intro that you saw before seeing this moment right now.
Okay, so you re-record your intro many times until you get it right and short. Can you give me a bit more details about your process?
No. Well,
Come on, Alex.
okay. The first 8 seconds of your video, you want to be done talking about what the video is going to be about and start. And this is something that when I see a beginner video, I watch and it's like 2 minutes before they actually start the video. You've already lost everyone. And so you're going to lose most people in the first 30 seconds. And so you want to crush the intro so they know it's exactly what you promised in the thumbnail headline. And then you get to the meat as fast as possible.
Okay, have you heard about Ali Abdal's tip?
I will film the hook at the end of the video. So this is a practical tip. If you struggle with hooks, if you find yourself overthinking them, you can try filming them at the end of the video session.
What do you think about it?
I'm good.
Okay, well, I like it. What else makes for a good hook then?
In entertainment, it's say the title again and then literally show them what was on the thumbnail. In education, it's show them that you can do what you promised them in the thumbnail. That's the difference.
Okay, but why is proof so important?
There's an unspoken question in every person's mind that has to first be answered, which is, why should I listen to you? And I think it's one of the most profound questions. And I think it influences how people share, how people take your content, everything. It's the frame that the content is consumed in.
Yeah, so what do you include in your YouTube intros?
In education, how do you approximate that they're going to get what they want to get? It's different. I can't show you the result. I have to give you proof that I can help you. And that's at least how I think about it. I think proof is an approximation of the likelihood that they're going to get what they click to see.
Yeah, proof. But what is in your hook checklist, Alex?
Fundamentally, if you have each video that you outline with what is the promise for this person, right? What is the proof that I can deliver on that promise? And then what's the plan that I'm going to walk them through? And you want to get all that done in like 8 seconds if it's a long.
Proof, promise, plan if you make education videos. But is there something that every person can do in their YouTube intros?
For those of you who don't know The Simpsons, every one of the introductions actually changes. Every one of them. And so they still have the introduction that has all the positive associations with funny times and the humor and the laughs that you've had with the show, but they introduce a tiny bit of variety into them to keep it interesting. And then what happens is people look forward to these introductions because they want to find the Easter egg. The real fans now get catered to, and the new fans don't know about it yet, but they will. And so now you actually serve both sides of the audience, the people who know you and the people who are just coming cold. Small variation, same introduction, you let the new people in, and you give something to the people who already know you.
It's very interesting. I've never heard that before. I actually Googled it, and Bart from The Simpsons writes something different every time on the classboard. So it raises the question every time you watch the episode, what will he write this time? Instead of the same boring intro each time, there is now something that creates anticipation. And it's low-hanging fruit because almost all of the visuals are identical. Just a small variation. Now what about the rest of the video, Alex?
If you just focus on making the content exceptional, like it will grow.
Yeah, but how do we make it exceptional?
State the facts and tell the truth. Say what no one else can say, show what no one else can show.
Okay, before I ask you to explain this in detail, what about your thumbnail advice?
When we look at our own thumbnails, for education at least, because I consider ourselves not entertainers, like you really only need a handful of kind of templates that work. It's like, okay, if I'm just doing a direct to camera thing, then it's like usually me with a quote tends to do okay.
You with a quote. That's why I made this Photoshop thumbnail pack, which is free, and it includes the quote template that you mentioned, but also Iman Gadzhi, Ali Abdaal style thumbnails. What should I do with it?
Give away everything.
For how much?
Absolutely free.
Okay, link below for the free Photoshop template to create thumbnails like this, and this in minutes. But Alex, what have you learned after split testing thousands of thumbnails?
The difference between these two thumbnails is going from vague to clear. All right, so if I looked at all the stuff that we did in the past, if I said, what is the video on the left about? You'd probably be like, a rule of some sort that might have to do with money. Not sure. If I said, what's the video on the right? The yellow background video. If I were to describe it, I'd probably say a map or a blueprint or schematics of some sort that go from 0 to 1,000,000. Okay, well guess what? The one on the right is exactly that. The one on the left actually has nothing to do with what that thumbnail looks like. And what do you know? When people click on something that they don't know what it's about, they have a smaller percentage of getting something they actually want than if you say this is what this is about, and then they get exactly what they think it's about. So we're going from vague to clear in both what it looks like, the thumbnails, and what we say about it, the headline.
Okay, but what about the headlines then, the YouTube titles?
From a headlines perspective, if I were to remake these today, I might try a first crack at business influencer crushes hater and shows how you can too. Okay, so now if I'm clicking, I would understand at least that this guy is a business influencer of some sort and he crushes haters. Okay, well I might want to see haters get crushed. Day in the life of $200 million per year CEO. Okay, now the jet tells me that this Alex Hormozi from the first one before, Alex Hormozi is maybe rich or maybe he can afford a private jet, but now I know he's a CEO because I could be a rapper. And then the third one there, Alex Hormozi diet, 16-hour workday, 6-pack diet for business owner, whatever. The point is that we actually make it welcoming to everyone, right? And here's why this matters. If you want your content to bring people who don't know you, which is why many of you guys make content, then you can't assume they do.
Aha, so that's why you said this in the beginning.
Mentally act as though you're always talking to a stranger, because if the content does well, you are.
So then you don't get most views from the subscribers tab.
80% of my traffic comes from the suggested or browse features.
Interesting, but then how do you compete with all these crazy edited videos on the home feed?
The way that you differentiate nowadays is by providing value in advance. The way you do that is you make content, you make free better than everyone else does. And you prove that you're better than everyone else by providing more value than everyone else does for a fee, which is literally what I do. And so that's what you do, is you provide more than everyone else does and you do it for free. And then people pay you because they're like, holy shit, this is her free stuff. I can imagine what her paid stuff is.
So is that what Naval Ravikant means with escaping competition through authenticity?
That's what we call 1 of 0 content, which is something that only we can make. And so everybody here can make content that no one else can make by simply talking about the stuff that you've done that no one else has done.
So you're saying we should focus less on views?
Instead of trying to make good content, try and solve problems for your avatar.
But Alex, those are not really viral topics.
Niche content will make you a hell of a lot more money if that's what you're actually selling.
Okay, but I need to go viral, Alex.
To grow as quickly as possible, make tons of viral videos of you, smacking strangers or whatever. But if you want to grow as well as possible that will make the most valuable thing, then you grow a little differently.
Okay, but don't you think that if I go viral, I can make more money faster?
You can either be rich or you can be famous. You can obviously be both. But honestly, sometimes it's a lot faster to just get rich.
Okay, so if you care less about views, then what data do you look at?
That's why we switched from views being the metric that we're optimizing for to ad revenue.
Why?
Here's why. Ad revenue takes into account views, but it has a second metric that's paired with it, which is RPMs, which is revenue per 1,000 eyeballs. So if YouTube pays lots of money for the eyeball, then it means they're more valuable. And if they're more valuable to the advertiser, they're more valuable to me.
I see a lot of truth in that. But what were your results after focusing on ad revenue instead?
The month with the highest RPMs and ad revenue also created the most book sales, the most opt-ins, and the most business applications.
That's reaffirming. Now, what about the algorithm?
Algorithm, big picture here, don't worry about it. Always just align your objective with the platform. Like, hacks are stupid.
Okay, so what do you recommend instead?
The long-term strategy of every platform is to keep people on the platform. And so they want you to make content that lots of people click on and that lots of people watch all the way through, and ideally watch something else from you. The long-term strategy of every platform is to keep people on the platform. And so they want you to make content that lots of people click on and that lots of people watch all the way through, and ideally watch something else from you. So everything that they do in the algorithm is just to always optimize for those 3 things. And that's not going to change. Now, the math that they do to code it might change, but the objective will always be the same. And so if you aligned your
your objective with the algorithm's objective, you will never have an issue.
Okay. So what about YouTube Shorts?
Why you do short stuff? I was kind of against shorts, and then I realized that I've never actually consumed anything from Gary Vee that's long, but I like Gary Vee a lot. And I was like, well, I guess that worked.
And what did you find out when you looked at your own YouTube Studio data?
There's two theories that at least the data that we looked at just completely didn't agree with, which was one is that shorts viewers become longs viewers. And I just haven't seen that. Like I hear it all the time, but when I looked at it, that just wasn't the case.
Yes, that's why my main priority is long form content. Also because of this image. Now, what are your thoughts on quality versus quantity for uploading on YouTube?
The bigger the creator, usually the less frequent they actually make videos. And it's because they realize just power laws exist, which is that if you spend 10 times more time on one video, it doesn't get 10 times the views. Sometimes it get 100 times the views. And so especially platforms nowadays are so heavily reliant on quality. You create the quantity to figure out the quality. And so in the beginning, more people make lots of content, and then you start figuring out the stuff that works, and then you'll notice that they're like, oh man, well, we did spend more time on that video. Okay, well, if we're gonna keep making videos like that, I don't think we can make this money, but it's okay because you make it up on the fact that the total quality of that one, it gets shared more, people watch it longer. And I think Mr. B said this, but it was like, if you make 10 videos or you spend 10 times and you make that one video 20% better in terms of AVD or click-through rate, you don't get 10 times the views, you get 100 times the views. So you get a disproportionate return for quality.
So how many views do you get?
10 times.
All right. So you're saying that investing 10 hours into one video may get me 10,000 views, whereas investing 100 hours, 10 times more, into one video does not give me 100,000 views, but 1 million views, which is the YouTube power laws explained. But what about YouTube community posts?
If you do have a YouTube channel, highly recommend doing CTAs on the community tab sporadically when it makes sense.
Interesting, but where should I put the link to my free thumbnail templates pack?
You want to put it above the fold. So you want to have to be the first thing that somebody sees before they even click see more is where you want to drive them. You can also, pro tip, put the first comment that you have in the comment section, just pin that comment. So that gives you two different places, and third inside the video where you can drive traffic. This is just something that I've learned over time.
Speaking about time, I remembered you mentioned a clever thing that I wanted to add to my to-do list.
I want you to look at your number one piece of content. This is what I want you to do. Just post it again, and then let me know how it does. And I will bet you that it does just as well or better than the stuff that you're posting right now. And let me tell you one reason why I believe that to be true. Because if you have been posting consistently, guess what's also happened? More people have entered your audience.
Absolutely, because content fades, but the audience stays.
And guess what they haven't seen? That amazing piece of content that everyone from last year said was the number one best thing you ever made. And you know what you said? New people, you don't get that. That was only for my old folks. My OGs, they only get that. No, you gotta reintroduce some of the stuff, your greatest hits. You gotta bring that stuff in so that the new people also know what your greatest hits are, so that the lore continues to compound and grow.
But Alex, what if I never grow, despite all of my hard work?
Give up now.
Come on, don't you have another insight?
It's about value per second, not seconds of value.
If you want to know what he means with that, watch this video next. Talk soon.